Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's do this. Let's do this. Hey, yo, what it is and what's good, y'all? Welcome back to 280 Plus, the social media podcast where I take the conversations off the timeline and go beyond the tweets. I'm your host, Los Def, and I'm back here for episode 170 of the platform. If you're new to the channel, I'd like you to hit that subscribe button. You know what I'm saying? Hit that like button. If you want to join the conversation, leave a comment below. If you know anybody that's interested in the content, I need you to share the content with them. So, you know what I'm saying? So, this is episode 170, right? And definitely an important episode. Definitely, we got some things happening, historic events happening, and we have a new. We have a president-elect. We have a president-elect, and it is a former president, right? So, yes, we are definitely going to talk about Donald Trump re-entering office and what that could look like. We're going to give some maybe a little bit of feedback and analysis. I kind of I talk separately on a little bit of it, but we're going to kind of bring it all together here. And so we're going to talk about that. We're gonna react to some content, right? We're gonna react to some IG content, some different posts that kind of run the gamut of some things, right? Some funny things, one or two things that might be kind of related to the actual election itself, but then also just some funny things and some interesting, quirky things there. And then if we have time. I did just see the new Venom movie, right? So I want to give a little quick recap of that. And then, so, Halloween is over. I know Halloween is over, but that doesn't mean that you have to stop watching horror movies, right? So I have a reaction to and I started the Terrifier series, right? So I watched the first Terrifier, and I have a recap for y'all. I tell you. It was I'll save it for the recap, whatever. But like, definitely eye opening, and I'm looking forward to seeing the other two movies. But I only seen the first one, and yeah, I'm gonna give you my 2 cents on that, whatever. So let's let's oh man. Let's talk about the election a little bit, man. So, the 2024 election, right? We had Donald Trump versus Kamala Harris, and the thing is, though, on either way this went, right? Like, I felt like I wanted to kind of keep my emotion out of it, right? So, like, even if the candidate that I wanted to win won, I didn't want to like be overly happy because there were certain things in this country that needed to change. And if the candidate that I didn't want to win got into office, I still had to like kind of be stoic and just like kind of take it for what it is, and just, kind of buckle down and just worry about how can I improve myself, and how things are going in my life to where the presidency is not a major impact, right? But yeah, man, I don't really talk about politics in terms of like where I really stand, and I don't go on a soapbox about my particular candidate. There might be instances where I might get into a little debate with you, but I don't really try to do that type of stuff publicly online. And I didn't make it too vocal, but maybe you could tell through some content that I had, because I was pretty critical of Donald Trump, that like, yeah, I did want Harris to win. I didn't necessarily want her to win because she was black. I didn't necessarily want her to win because she was a woman. I wanted her to win because I felt that in the positions that she's held, right? I feel like she is a leader, right? In many facets, in many ways. I felt like the positions that she had showed that she had some kind of constraint, or restraint, right? When it came to like talking to people, right? So like, I felt like there was just this general like diplomacy that she kind of moved with, that I felt like Donald Trump did not move with. Also, there's just one thing about Donald Trump, like, whether you think Donald Trump is racist or not, right? Whether you think he himself is racist, I'm gonna say this again, and I'm gonna say this till I'm blue in the face. Every Donald Trump supporter isn't racist, right? But every racist, yeah, everybody, anybody that supports Donald Trump doesn't necessarily make you a racist. So every Trump supporter is not a racist, but every racist is a Donald Trump supporter, right? So if you are on the racism, if you are the racist side of things, I know who you voted for. I know you voted for. So kind of aligning my interests with people like that is hard to do so. And so like I just can't get behind some of the rhetoric and things like that. And then also just in general, a lot of times Republican candidates don't really speak to my particular interests, right? I'm not particularly religious, right? So that doesn't really affect me if you go in like the evangelical route. Shoot. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? But at the same time, I don't necessarily like rely on government assistance, but like it doesn't bother me that people get government assistance, right? Like, it doesn't bother me that people get help. Immigration is not really something that I worry about particularly. I don't feel like there's no immigrants taking my jobs, right? There's not migrant workers for my industry where I'm worried about the status of my employment. So like in some ways, yeah, maybe I did more vote my interests or at the very least I didn't have fears of certain things that other people had to where I was it's like that don't even align with me. Now, um I to be honest, like it was a long shot for her to win. It was not like something that was in the bag. One thing that this shows us though is that I think this is a big thing is that social media is not real. And I don't mean that like the stuff that all the stuff is fake that we see on social media. But what I mean is that the perception of reality through social media is not real. So I think we fail to realize that our algorithms help to paint a certain picture of a reality for us that some people may not see. So like a lot of people really felt like and I understand that though. I understand like I'm in my algorithm has me in a certain matrix, right? And I and I'm seeing certain things versus other things or like I'm seeing a certain slant on things that I'm not that other people might not see. But like if you go off of the way people are disappointed that Kamala Harris lost, but then a lot of people are just wondering like, how is that possible? How is it possible? And I'm thinking like, well, because maybe on social media you saw like all this momentum and things like that, but like to be honest, it was a long shot for her to win, right? She only been running this race for a couple months. She's only been running this race, what, maybe 3 months total, 3.5 months, if that that's really not enough time to kind of gain that momentum and to really make headway, especially when you're relying on donors and money and things like that. Like she did a good job for, I think she ran a good race for for the time that she had, but I think it in some ways I'm willing to say or willing to think that like I don't want to say misogyny, but like there are a lot of people that just ain't ready to see a woman in charge, right? Is it racism necessarily? I don't think that I think that we did have a black president in charge, and then like I don't think that people are, you know, racing to get another black person to be in charge. But then you add that it's a black woman. I don't think that sells for a lot of people. I think I think maybe implicitly there might be white women that might feel like, "Ugh," like, I should be in that spot before her, or we should be in those spots before her. I mean, because it's almost like we just kind of skipped, like we skipped white women all together, even we got a black man in there before that. So I think it was a long shot for her in the long run. I think one of the things that hurts the Democratic Party is that they really don't have a clear message, and I think that the Democratic Party has banked on getting the support of like really small populations of people, niche groups of people, fringe groups of people, and thinking that they are going to save them, or that's gonna it's gonna like generate a bunch of interest, right? So like when this is not no anti LGBT sentiment. It's not no anti trans sentiment, whatever. But like when you make a certain population like the focal point, in general, you gotta understand that most of the countries probably against like the not even just like talking about it, but like the over talking about some of these topics. Like they don't like that. That shit don't feel good to them. So they're gonna shy away from that like every time. And it's not gonna gain you the support that you think that you're gonna get. And so they needed to have a clear message about what is affecting people right now, and people is worried about their money. People want money. People think that they're not getting enough money. Now, whether a Donald Trump presidency can get them that money is another story. But like revisionist history is a real thing, and people forget. They feel like they remember things being so great, 8 years ago, but like if you're able to sell that to them, that it was better 8 years ago. If you're a good salesman, which Donald Trump at the very least, he's a good salesman, is that at that he's gonna resonate with voters, and he's gonna sway their opinion. We got Donald Trump. He won. He is going to be what he was the 45th, and then Biden was 46. So he is. Donald Trump is officially the 45th president and the 47th president of the United States. And this comes at a time when the incumbent party, I would say the incumbent party, lost, right? The incumbent did not lose, but he dropped out of the race, and the incumbent would have been Joe Biden. I don't think Joe Biden would have stood a chance, sorry, especially how things were going, especially how like those debates were and things like that, the debate that they had, and just his deteriorating health. I don't think he stood a chance at all. And then obviously the Democratic Party tried to elevate Kamala, and for the first time in since this election cycle started, it felt like there was an election cycle. It felt like we had two actual candidates, and she definitely had some momentum. It seemed like she was gaining steam, but it's a tough task to try to run for president in the course of 3 months, right? So no one can run for president and probably win in 3 months. Obviously, people feel that the fact that she's a woman plays a part. The fact that she's a minority plays a part, and maybe it's a combination of the two, or maybe it's just like she didn't have enough time to get her true message out there. And I think that speaks to the bigger issue, which is in the Democratic Party, and just the fact that they don't really have a message, and they can't narrow down what they actually want to do. um Anything that they talk about may be in response to something that Donald Trump is saying or doing, but like they don't have their own set thing that this is what we're gonna do. Um, and a lot of times, even what Kamala was saying, it just felt. I don't want to say she was saying word salad, but it was definitely just like generic. It was like, oh, we're gonna lower costs and build houses. Okay, like, but like what's the plan, right? Donald Trump at least had a plan. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna kind of dig into some things that had to do with the election, talk about some numbers here, and then we're gonna share some content also that has to do with the election. So if we're wondering how Trump won the election. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna talk about right now, and maybe I could actually share this graphic with you guys in a second here. I'm gonna share this with you, or I'm gonna probably, matter of fact, I'm not gonna share it. I'm just gonna put it on the screen, and this is what we're gonna use to talk about this, right? So, um, when it comes to voting and how people voted in terms of demographics, right? In terms of demographics, we're gonna go by gender. It says gender by race, and then who voted for Harris versus who voted for Trump, right? So again, we can't just also remember when we're saying these demographics, we're talking about these people in terms of voters. We're not talking about people as a whole, right? 'Cause I'm not gonna say 34% of white men. No, 34% of like white male voters because 30% of all, whatever percentage of all white men did not necessarily vote. Let's dig into some of these demographics that we got here. So, white men. So that's the first category that we're gonna go over. All right. Of white men, white male voters, right? 39% of white male voters voted for Kamala Harris. 59% of white male voters voted for Donald Trump, which is to be expected for like and it's no and this is not that's not a knock to white men at all. Like it's to be expected. Like white men is we're gonna vote for Donald Trump, right? White women voters, all right? White women voters. It says 47% of white women voters voted for Kamala Harris versus 52% of white female voters voted for Trump, right? So 52% white women, 47% for Kamala Harris, right? So and I don't think that number actually probably I'm surprised it actually wasn't a little bit more for Trump, but like maybe that has to do with how they felt about the issues of reproductive rights and things like that, right? Now let's talk about black men. Black men. Um and black men only made up maybe like 5% of all the voting of all the voting numbers, all right? But 78% of black male voters voted for Kamala Harris, right? Which is actually higher than I thought, right? Because there was a lot of black male voters that were, or at least, I mean, we don't know if they end up voting, whatever, but there was a lot of black men that was kind of on the Trump train, and they were kind of really, talking about stimulus checks and coming up and things like that. 20% of black male voters voted for Trump though. So 20%, that's actually, like I said, I thought it would be maybe close to 30%, maybe 25% even. But the fact that 78% still voted for Kamala is actually pretty high to me. The demographic that held Kamala down, and it was to be expected that will hold her down, is black women. 92% of black female voters voted for Kamala Harris. And they don't even put the number, but we can assume it's 8%, but it might be closer to like 6 or 7% of black female voters voted for Trump, right? Let's see, let's go Hispanic and Latino men. Um, 54% voted for Trump, 44% voted for Kamala Harris. Hispanic and Latino women, this is a flip flop, right? So this is so these Hispanic and Latino households, right? We have some divide, we have some division. So 61% of Latino and Hispanic women voted for Kamala Harris, and only 37% voted for Donald Trump, and then all other voters, so that would be of any other race, right? And that's probably Asians. It's, I mean, maybe people of Indian descent, Native Americans, anything that you can think of. 50% did vote for Kamala Harris, and then 45% voted for Donald Trump, and all other voters only make up about 6% of the voting population. All right. So are those numbers surprising to you at all? I would, like I said, they're not very surprising to me. A lot of those numbers kind of hold weight and kind of resonate a little bit. We did expect that black women were going to show up for Kamala, and they definitely did. And like I said, I don't think it had to do with. I don't. I This is one of those things where I don't think it had anything to do with these specific little niches of people, of who's going to vote or who was going to sway the election one way or the other, but it was just the majority. One thing about this election that where it's not one of those things where like I don't really feel too sad about it because it was a clear loss. It was a clear loss. Like when Hillary Clinton lost in 2016, she still won the popular vote. She won the popular vote, and then to lose the electoral college, that always stings. It always feels like it's like that's not right. Like it's not fair. It's not you know. The last election, Biden won the popular vote and he won the electoral college, right? Pretty clearly. And then this is one of those where basically the same thing happened. And you got Donald Trump though on the other side though. He finally won the popular vote and he won the electoral college. And like he beat her by like seven. I mean, the last time I checked, it was like 7 million votes where in which he defeated her. So like it's a clear landslide for real in terms of voting numbers. Like you can't you can't just make up 7 million votes out of nowhere. Like those can't come out of thin air. But I would say that the Democratic Party that they're gonna be the ones that kind of show like a lot of restraint in the sense of they're not gonna be on some like it was a lot of cheating going on. Like I don't think you're gonna hear that type of stuff. Not gonna hear about rigged elections or anything like that. And Kamala is trying to ensure that there is going to be a peaceful transfer of power, mostly from the Biden administration to the new Trump administration. So we'll see. We'll see what we get out of this. Like one thing I'll say is this. We'll see. One thing that I'll say is that I want I just want if you are a Trump supporter, if you are a Republican, I want y'all to hold Donald Trump accountable because there is this like weird I mean when people say that it's a cult or whatever, there's this like weird belief that like some of his supporters don't feel like he could do anything wrong. And that wasn't always the case. That's not the case with most politicians. Black people that voted for Obama were very critical of Obama, especially by the end of his presidency, right? And they felt that he could do wrong. But with Trump, it's like I don't want to hear this. Oh, he's misunderstood stuff, or like that's just the way he delivers things, or like oh he had to. No, I don't want to hear justifications. I want to hear y'all hold him to task because this is who y'all voted for. This is one thing that we got to realize too. Incumbents don't lose unless they had a bad presidency, right? It's very rare in modern times for a president not to get two terms back to back, right? Like not to get two consecutive terms. It's very rare. And if you do lose your seat, all right, if you do lose the presidency, if you're the incumbent and you lose, it's an indication that you had a bad presidency, right? So Joe Biden just lost, right? He's the incumbent. He had a bad presidency. He did. He did. He just didn't do well. He didn't do well. Um, he spent the first year trying to defend the fact that he won, right? And then the other 3 years, this guy was, felt like he was asleep and he was just getting ridiculed half the time. Um, in the middle of his presidency, we seen the Supreme Court go to work and start changing all type of laws when it comes to obviously we're talking about female reproductive rights, and we're talking and then we if we talk about affirmative action as it pertains to higher education, and things like that. So like and then the ending of DEI, all that type of stuff happened, and these are big initiatives. These are and loan forgiveness never passed. Loan forgiveness never passed. So like he don't have a lot like you can dig into the numbers and say that and probably statistically maybe inflation is down or maybe in some ways the economy is up in certain aspects. But like it's hard to sell people on that because they don't feel it. They don't feel it. and like we people can hand point at like the a bunch of things that you didn't do right. So like people just wanted to change. It's unfortunate though. I would have rather seen if the incumbent was going to lose, I would have rather seen that if it was going to be a Republican, it'd be just somebody new, just a fresh breath of air. Unfortunately, we do got Donald Trump, and we're gonna see how it goes. We're gonna see how it goes. But what do you think, man? What do you think about this year's election? Whatever side you're on. Again, I don't want to lose. I don't want to lose viewers just because we talking about this in general. But at the same time, it is what it is, man. We gotta live. We gotta live. I said this in last week's episode. Like, no matter what, no matter who wins, you gotta live with the other side's politics. You gotta learn to live with it, right? And you got to keep moving forward. Like, you know, what I mean, at this point now, maybe you got to worry about yourself, right? And your own family and make sure y'all good. But like, we can't be dwelling on this political stuff though. So let me know in the comment section what you think, man. We're about to move on here. All right, here we go. Moving on, but we are gonna stay with the election a little bit. We're gonna just talk about. We're gonna react to some things that we're kind of seeing here. And this first thing though was, after Trump wins the presidency, and basically he gives, like, we hear what his mandate is, right? So a mandate, right? A lot of presidents, once they take office, they make a statement that's basically like, yo, this is my mission when I get in office. And this one might, I think this is the energy that people were like, some people like, but then some people are like really worried about, right? So this is Donald Trump's mandate according to his sources. All right. So Donald Trump's press secretary speaks on his plans for the start of his term, which includes on day one launching the largest mass deportation operation. So here, let's hear this. Make sure we share the sound. Here we go. All right, here we go.
Well, that's right, Brian. The American people delivered a resounding victory for President Trump, and it gives him a mandate to govern as he campaigned, to deliver on the promises that he made, which include on day one launching the largest mass deportation operation of illegal immigrants that Kamala Harris has allowed into this country. It includes drill baby drill and expediting permits for nuclear, for fossil fuels, for an above all energy approach that's going to bring down the cost of living in this country. It includes on day one bringing Ukraine and Russia to the negotiating table to end this war and returning to the very tough sanctions on the Iranian regime so we can stop the chaos in the Middle East. The American people are clearly longing for the policies of Donald Trump. They despise the policies that the Harris-Biden administration have implemented over the past 4 years. And the Harris-Biden administration will go down as the worst, weakest, most corrupt administration in our nation's history. Well, that
All right, she definitely added some sauce on the end of that, whatever. But largest mass deportation operation, right? So I'm already hearing from some people though, like earn your leisure and things like that, and they're saying that like, yo, mass deportation would like would literally destroy our economy. And that's the thing, with some of the nuance of some of these things. I know it's like, yeah, get them out of our country, like, like all these angry ass white people, they be on that type of stuff, which, yeah, in some ways I feel what you're saying. I feel what you're saying, right? But at the same time, it can't be like, it can't be what you're saying, because the thing is though, when these kind of deportation missions happen, it doesn't just get these people that it doesn't they don't start to like really, it's everybody's just a number at that point, and they're not digging into the nuances and making sure like, oh, these are the people that came in here for asylum illegally, or or these are the people from here, these are people here. Like, you're gonna see like people from all different places, right, just get mass deported because again, when it comes to bureaucracy and like little and red tape and like actual just like the minutia of things, yeah, you're gonna get like Jamaican people deported that you wouldn't think are deported. You might get some, African people that get deported that wouldn't normally get deported and stuff like that. So like I think we gotta be careful a little bit, but okay, so sure. You know what I mean? And then talking about drilling for gas and things like that, it's like we already drill. We already are the largest producers of oil in the world. We actually are. Um, but we're not gonna get into no economics, whatever. But like obviously there's reasons why we still buy oil from other countries, and it's because we don't necessarily want to use up all the things that we have. All right. So, but let's keep going though. Another thing that I wanted to share with you guys, and this is not this. There's no words to this, but this is some rhetoric that I wanted to share with y'all because and I think we're gonna see some people that are gonna say like this is all jokes, or this is not it doesn't literally mean what it says. But I think we're gonna get some spin. So the biggest Trump supporters, the big MAGA people out there, they are once this election was finalized, they start talking crazy. All right, so let's share what let's share what I'm talking about here. Um, and you got people like Nick Fuentes and Matt Walsh and people like that, people that are like the staunch MAGA supporters. This is the stuff that they're saying out there in the streets. And then we're actually going to play some audio from one of our guys. So MAGA operatives react to Trump winning. So let's show this. Let's show this. And we're going to share the audio of Nick Fuentes and see what he's talking about here. So let's take a look here. All right. So Nick Fuentes tweeted out, "Your body, my choice forever. Your body, my choice forever." So, yep, like that's how some of these people feel. Like, and maybe this guy's on the far end of the extreme of what it means to support Trump, but like this is what we're talking about. Here we go. It is my honor to inform you all that Project 2025 was real the whole time. This is Benny Johnson. And there's a lot of people that's saying, like, oh no, it wasn't that he didn't really write it, and he didn't write it. I don't think he wrote it, but he made it seem like he wasn't supporting it. But then he started to do things that directly aligned with this Project 2025, right? So let's keep going. Oh, Candace Owens, low blow here. She says, for the millions of you who followed along and supported the Kamala series, we absolutely did this. Made Kamala Indian again. Wow. And then another one. So when do deportations start? This is Tommy Lauren. She says, I think Donald Trump should give all illegal immigrants 90 days to self-deport. If they don't do that, they should be allowed. If they do that, they should be allowed to apply to immigrate legally into this country. Okay. Okay. And okay, then we do get the concession speech from her.
If you're being ghosted.
Oh.
Basically,
okay.
when you're new.
Okay. Matter of fact, yeah, we can we
If you're being
can we hit the
For you.
Oh no, we're not gonna show this one. Let's go. Okay, this is the Nick Fuentes stuff though. Like let's move on to this. So remember, this is the guy that said your body, our choice, or your body, my choice. And then this is him kind of going in on that topic. So let's take a look at this.
The feel when you're totally not pressed. The feel when we control your bodies. Hey, bitch, we control your bodies. Guess what? Guys win again, okay? Men win again. And yes, we control your bodies. Hi, I'm your Republican congressman. Hi, I'm your Republican congressman. It's your body, my choice. And men, women again. Men win again. There will never, ever be a female president. Never. There will never be a female president, ever. It's over. Glass ceiling. Dude, it's a ceiling made of fucking bricks. You will never break it. Your stupid face keeps hitting the brick ceiling. We will keep you down forever. You will never control your own bodies. You will never be the president of the globe. The feel when you're total empire. Never gonna happen, sweetie. Your body, our choice. Total empire.
So that's the thing. Like, and one, in one sentiment, people might say like, "Oh no, he's just the extreme. That's not who you need to listen to or go by and things like that." But like, that's the thing on the liberal side. I don't know if there's anyone that's as extreme and that like nasty about how they feel like that. And maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm being ignorant and I'm like ignoring people, but like there ain't nobody like that on the other side. That's just what I see. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know how we can. I don't know how people could spin this. Into making it seem like it's not that serious, but we'll see. We'll see. All right. Yeah, let's get into some lighter stuff though. Let's get into some lighter stuff. We've been talking enough about the election. I did have some other heavy things that we were going to react to on Instagram that kind of have to do with the same thing, but we're going to keep it a little bit light here because we want to get into these recaps. And then but yeah, so let's look at man, I always wished that my dog like if I had a pet, I always wish that my pet could talk. And lo and behold, man, there's some AI. Now, I don't know if this is real or not, but like, wouldn't this be dope if this was a real thing? And let's talk about it. So, apparently, there might be. Oh, so Personify AI has introduced 10 AI powered wearable. Okay. So there I seen this page that talked about basically some AI powered collar that lets your pet talk, right? So it says Personify AI has introduced 10 AI powered wearable that lets pets speak by expressing their emotions and needs. Pet owners can choose from 27 fun personas for their pets, adding personality to their voice with language options like English, Spanish, and Mandarin. It uses advanced AI to interpret pets' behavior and provide real-time communication. I don't know if this is a real thing, but like, let's check this out. Like, check this out. What if this was real? What if this is real? If this is real, I would get a dog tomorrow just to see how this works. All right. So yeah, and I wonder how much a collar like this would cost. But let's take a look. Look at this.
Jackson, are you hungry?
Look into my eyes. Do they look hungry to you?
Harley, do you want to go for a walk?
Yeah, it would feel nice to get some fresh air in the lungs. You really need to change your air filter.
Clay, are you hungry?
Really? I'm not hungry, I'm hangry.
Clay, are you hungry?
Am I hungry? How would you feel if you hadn't eaten in 30 minutes? I mean, really.
Jackson, are you hungry?
Look into my eyes.
Look into my eyes. Some of those voices are a little bit corny, but like I think, yeah, it'd be cool though. Like it'd be on some like look who's talking now, look who's talking type of vibes, homeward bound type of vibes. You know what I'm saying? But I'm with it. I'm for it. I'm for it. All right, what else we got? What else we got? Let's see. Oh, okay, here we go. Now, this is something that I said like about 2 years ago. I did a live event. It was like around it was actually in November. It was right before Thanksgiving time. Probably like it's probably the anniversary of that probably comes up like in like a week or two. So I was at the Give Back Fest. So shout out to Worldwide Wednesday, and everything that he does with the organizations that he's a part of, and they had their annual Give Back Fest, and I met a guy, and this is somebody I still communicate with, but a rapper out of Philly. His name was John Bolds, and we talked about like it was so fun because Man, a couple years ago, I was doing a lot. I was getting outside a little bit more, and I was doing like live events and things like that. And it was cool, and it was some good experiences. And I learned like what is feasible and what's not feasible. And I also learned like what I can kind of jump out there for and what I can't jump out there for because certain platforms and certain things just don't it just doesn't fit. It just doesn't fit. So but yeah, one event that I did and that I was a part of, yeah, it was like this Give Back Fest. And one of the topics I was talking about dreams and nightmares. And cause my man was hype about dreams and nightmares. And I was talking about how like, yo, bro, I think it's time that we stop it and we retire it. So there's some other ladies that kind of feel the same way. So we're about to check out this video and I want y'all to let me know, man. Do y'all feel these ladies or are they tripping?
Send DJs a message, please.
Okay.
I feel like we need to have a petition to just stop playing Meat Mill's Dreams and Nightmares.
Oh,
Stop.
enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Enough is enough.
Do they play that a lot in London?
Yes!
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Every single party, Dreams and Nightmare. And the thing is, Dreams and Nightmare is such a random song. It's like you could be listening to Baby Welcome to the Party.
Yeah. And then you hear that piano.
When it first came out, niggas was young and hustling, and they was like, "Oh, I feel it, feel it. I'm grinding, I'm hustling, I'm gonna make it." Now it's 10 years later, and you still ain't made it. Y'all need to let it go.
You know what I do?
I thought the story was going
Positive.
to
No,
something
I
positive.
knew where it was going. You used to pray for times like this, and they still not here.
And they still ain't came.
Go
Let it go.
away.
Hold up, wait a minute, y'all thought I was finished. You is.
Can we just send DJs a message?
Damn. Nah, they kind of went in a little bit harder. They started talking about like the people that sing the songs, and I just think that just playing it is a little bit OD. But like, yeah, no, she said we used to pray for times like this, and she was like, and y'all need to keep on praying. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, let's move on. Let's move on, man. What do y'all think though? What do y'all think? And then yeah, let's get into some stuff, man. So I saw the new Venom movie. And I'm very excited to talk about this, whatever. So over the weekend, I finally saw Venom, and I guess it's only like the second week that it was out when I seen it, right? And I was pleasantly surprised by how good it was, right? So now let me tell you this: I never seen any of the Venom movies. My son's seen like now he's seen all three of them, and he kind of was putting me on. So I never seen any of them. And my son was giving me some very much needed background about the movie. One thing I say though is like Tom Hardy, man, does his thing as always, man. Tom Hardy is one of the best actors alive. He's been one of the best actors especially I'd say in the last 20 years. Definitely has held it down. Maybe more like 15 years, but I'll just say, yeah, last 20 years, he's definitely held it down and played in some amazing roles over that time period. And Venom is no short of that. And I think Tom Hardy should have been the reason why I started watching Venom in the first place. And I just I think I was having I get Marvel fatigue a little bit. Like I can't watch all the Marvel movies. I just can't do it. It's too many that come out. There's too many sequels. Then there's TV shows, and they be trying to have the TV shows continue to the so I can't do it. I can't do it. So I never watched the other ones. I didn't realize that Venom itself. I didn't realize that they made them like they're separate entities and things like that. The whole thing with symbiotes and stuff like that. But I didn't realize Venom had so many redeeming qualities. I thought Venom was just a bad guy. I thought it was just like Spider-Man's like villain. But no, like it's is considered an anti-hero. And I think part of the reason why it's an anti-hero is because the main actor or the main character like I think it's because the secret identity of Venom, who is like this guy Eddie Brock. I think it's because he's like really a nobody. Like he's not like he doesn't even fit the hero mode. He's just a guy. And I think it's like when you have stories that feature anti-heroes, it's for these people that are just people, and they're just kind of boring, and like it's no redeeming qualities about them. Um, so yeah, so I thought it was cool. One of my favorite parts was definitely when the actor that plays Otto Hightower on House of the Dragons, like once he comes into the movie and like his little role that he has, and like it was just cool because like seeing this actor in a different light, it was kind of good. But yeah, Venom is very it's funny. It's a dope cinematic experience. I've heard people say, and this is me, I've never seen any of them. I've heard people say that this one was the best one. So like, lo and behold, I'm glad I seen this one instead of the other ones. But like, I thought this movie was amazing. And it kind of makes me want to go back, but it almost makes me think like, dang, there's no point because the way this ended, it was like this is called Venom: The Last Dance, and like my man was dancing and everything. He really was dancing. Like Venom is funny, bro. So yo, go check that out. If you haven't checked that out yet, make sure you go catch that. Especially if you're a Marvel guy, if you're a Venom person, Spider-Man, all that. Make sure you go check out Venom. All right. All right. Let's move on. Last recap I want to give. Last movie I want to talk about. And it is Terrifier. So I've been seeing like over the last couple months, I've been seeing like especially when Terrifier 3 came out and I seen it and it was like all this like internet talk about it, like oh Terrifier 3 and I was thinking like what are the first two Terrifiers? What is this movie? Well, Terrifier is this movie that's kind of like it actually started the first movie came out in 2016, Terrifier 1, and it's like an independent horror film. And actually, like the movies get better in quality and production as they go on. Especially like so, Terrifier 2 is the one that was like that's like their best movie, and that is the one that like obviously led to the anticipation of Terrifier 3. But that is Terrifier 2 is the one for them. Now I haven't seen it yet, but I've seen the trailers and I can see automatically the main differences, right? So, Terrifier, is it scary? Yes, I would say it's scary. It's creepy for sure. It's scary in terms of it definitely gives you that feeling of like wanting to get out, right? Like wanting to be free, wanting to get away from this guy. Like you definitely want to get away from this guy. There's not really jump. I don't want to say there's like jump scares though. Like there's not that jump scare element. But there is a lot of gore. It's a lot of blood. It's very gruesome. It's a very OD. Like what they're doing to the people in this movie is very OD. Um, I think the character itself is creepy as hell, so that works in their favor. It's this guy named Art the Clown, and but like just the way he wears has this makeup and like the fact that he don't really talk, that's what makes him kind of scary, whatever. But I'm gonna give some criticisms in a little bit, but definitely worth seeing. And like I said, I do want to see what the second one and third one are like. But we about to get into this character a little bit in this movie. So this first one was definitely it was definitely cheaply made. Definitely cheaply made. Like it's like the effects are really bad. Like they stab a guy in the face and it's just like I don't know what they use to make the blood, but it just looks really cheesy and fake. Um it's just crazy. It's just crazy. Um, I do see why it got picked up though to be a feature film. Like I can see why you take a movie like this and you're like, yo, this has because like when you're watching it, you're like, yo, this has potential to be like the next scary ass movie, right? So I can see why it got picked up and like they put money behind it and made it a whole production. Um, one thing I say though about the movie though is like obviously not only is it like cheaply made and stuff like that, but like just the actual development. So one of the things that makes a villain, especially in a horror movie, so scary is the backstory. There's no backstory as at least in the first Terrifier movie. There's no real backstory to Art the Clown. So all the stuff that he's doing makes no sense. Like it really makes no sense. Now, other than the fact that he's thrown off and crazy, sure, that's fine. Like we can go there. Like we can go there that he's a crazy person. But like he don't have no backstory. Like Michael Myers, it was based on his childhood. Chucky, right? You had his albeit very fake, whatever. But like the spirit of this evil man was like put into this doll. Freddy Krueger has to, it's the dreams. Jason, it's something to do with his mom. Candyman even has a backstory. Like all these horror films and horror film characters have some sort of like backstory a little bit. And Art the Clown is just like we don't know why he's doing the things that he's doing. We don't know why like he chooses in that movie. Like it starts with these two women, and like we don't really know why he's trying to terrorize these two women, but he does. And like, but yeah, the movie goes all over the place a little bit. And again, it's like it's nasty. It's like, oh, but and oh my God, there's a scene, man. The way he decides to cut this woman, and he literally cut her in half from her split, right? We was gonna say that from her split. He literally is like sawing her, and like you see all this like blood. It's just so bad. It's so bad. And the thing is, I considered taking my son to see that one. I don't. It's weird because we seen Saw, but like I don't know. Like Saw is different because like there's especially if it's a John Kramer trap, there's a possibility that you can survive and get out of it. All this stuff is just like some man trapped you and he's gonna kill you, and if you don't get the fuck out of there, if you don't figure out a way to kill him first. So yeah, so it's just I think the story, I don't, hopefully in part two there's a little bit more story there, but like I think the story and the background of Art the Clown needs to be developed. Even sometimes, even if it's just a narrator that's saying in the beginning, like we need that. We need somebody to tell us like who he is and why he is doing even a little bit of the things that he's done, right? So what do you think? What do you think? What do you think? Again, we did spend quite a bit of time talking about the election, but obviously we have to because I mean, this is a new day and age in our democracy. There's a couple of reactions that I did want to do, but we're gonna save them for another time. And if you're still watching, I appreciate you first off. But if you're watching, I need you to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, share the content, leave a message, leave a comment, and yeah, man. I gotta wrap this up. This is episode 170 of the 280 Plus podcast, y'all, and I'm out.